Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a trying new makeup video. I haven't done one of these in a couple weeks and I'm really missing it. I feel like I just got a little bit overwhelmed with all the foundations and there was a ton of eyeshadow palettes and I just felt like I need a breather, so we're back at it. I'm going to tell you some of the products we're going to be using. So we're going to use the new Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Airbrush Foundation. I did pick this up, as well as the Corrector, I think it's called. This is supposed to be like an under eye corrector, so we're going to play with that. I also want to demo the Iconic London Seamless Concealer. I had this probably for almost a month now, so I got it way before they launched it, and I wanted to just demo it on here, so it's not a first impression to me, but to you guys it'll be, unless you saw like my Instagram video. I also have a bunch of products from Juno & Co. They sent over their new brushes. So they originally had sponges, and now they have brushes, and they even have a setting powder. This is the Juno Blur. I am so excited to try this. First of all, the packaging is everything on these. They also have a new primer that I'm going to talk to you guys about. They are sponsoring the first portion of this video to demo the new primer, so we'll get into that in a second. Also, really wanted to test out the Dominique Cosmetics Celestial Storm palette. This was sent over to me in my first PR from Dominique Cosmetics, and I have to say this palette is drawing me in, so I'm excited to try that. I also have the new Laura Mercier Face and Cheek palette. Now this one is 100% of the proceeds go to ovarian cancer research. I will link kind of more information down below, but this is what it looks like. So I thought we could play around with that, as well as maybe top a little bit of Benefit Cookie because they have singles now. And then I also got this Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur blush I picked up from the Sephora sale. So I've been hearing great things about this, as well as the IT Cosmetics Lash Blowout Mascara. And then I don't know about lips, we'll just kind of see where it takes us, but those are the main products that I want to focus on. So if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe, and I've jabbed on a little too much. Let's go ahead and begin. So I've zoomed you guys in and we're going to start on the base. I am partnering with Juno & Co. to demo and talk a little bit about their newest launch, which is the Moonshine Miracle Cream. So this is really interesting. I've had it for almost a month now, so I have my full thoughts on it. I've been using it quite a bit. I have definitely went ham into this. This is a really cool product because it is a primer, but it acts like a moisturizer. So it has avocado oil and hyaluronic acid, which you guys know I love hyaluronic acid. It's just like a really nice stable ingredient that really gives you hydration, especially for somebody like me that's combo. I find that hyaluronic acid works really well with my skin. So this is what the primer looks like. It truly is a primer that feels like a cream. It looks like a cream as well. So it's white in the jar, and then when you buff it out, it gives you this soft focus, kind of flawless blurred effect while also giving you that hydration, kind of like a moisturizer would do. So it's interesting when I compare both hands. This one just looks a little bit dull, a little bit dry, whereas this one has like a nice kind of glow, and it really does blur. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 primer and moisturizer. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this all over the skin. I love that it's not heavily fragranced. I don't notice any fragrance. It's not irritating. It really just gives me that soft hydration. I feel like I'm super dry on my forehead, so I like to go in quite heavy up there. So the texture on this is really similar to like the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream, which I know a lot of people enjoy. It's just really pricey. And then also like the Tarte, I think it's called the First Step Prep Moisture Cream, just really hydrating, almost kind of like maybe the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream, but this one almost has a, I don't know, like a more blurring effect. So you're going to get that hydration, but also the blurring, which we all need. I have large pores, and that's something that really bothers me. I also love that this is cruelty-free and also has clean, effective ingredients. Hyaluronic acid is like one of my favorite things. So when I saw that, I was like, yes, I'm so excited. So this is what my skin looks like after I've applied the primer cream. It just looks nice and healthy and hydrated. I feel like I have a nice kind of dew going on, especially on my forehead, which is usually really dry, and I just feel like I have a nice, it's slightly tacky base for makeup. This plays really well under makeup. I've obviously worn it for a few weeks, so I like that it kind of grips onto my makeup, but it's not going to be greasy. I can't stand when I get like super greasy, so I'll go ahead and link the Moonshine Miracle Cream down below. I do have a 10% off discount code with Juno & Co. It's not affiliate, but it's just 10% off for you guys. I will put it up here and down below, and if you want to check out any of the products that I'm using today, I will have them linked, but I highly recommend this. As I said, I've been using it for almost a month now, and it hasn't broken me out. It just plays well with makeup and gives me a nice nice kind of glow under my foundation. So moving on to foundation, I did pick up this new Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I picked up the shade 7 Neutral, and I am praying that it's not going to be too deep for me. The packaging is really nice, really, you know, sturdy, expensive. And I'm going to use the sponge from Juno & Co. When they approached me to work with me on this, obviously I got this like a month ago, so I've been trying this out, but I asked them this past week to send me their newest stuff, like their brushes and sponges and their powder, because I was curious and I wanted to try it. So I am going to be using this is the Cloud sponge. They originally had the kind of microfiber sponges, but they've expanded into kind of just more like a typical sponge. So I want to try this out because I typically, you know, I like a soft typical sponge. So I'm going to go ahead and pump this out on my hand. I have no idea what to expect. I've heard that this oxidizes, which worries me because I feel like this is already a little bit dark. So we're going to go ahead and see. Oh, okay. Sorry, I had to adjust my mirror. Whoa. I don't know why I'm shocked because this does claim to be full coverage, and okay. Woo! I don't want to go too heavy and kind of gunk up, so just going to, this is a little deep for me. It's so hard to tell. I feel like foundation matching never used to be a problem for me, and recently I am just like a hot mess. I don't know, like usually I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm a medium or a light medium, but now I feel like even this being neutral, not that it's orange, but I don't know if this would be just like neutral. So this is what the foundation looks like. I feel like it looks nice. It doesn't look dry at all to me. I feel like I still have a nice glow on. It's probably because of that primer, because I think this is a matte foundation. Coverage is high. I would say 1.5 pumps and you can get your entire face. Definitely oxidizes. I wish I would have gone down a shade or two, but it's just, like I said, it's so difficult online. Okay, so I had to look this up. This is the Magic Vanish Color Corrector. I got the shade Fair, which now I'm like, I should have gotten light. I need help with picking. So this is what it looks like. Almost in the pan, it looks kind of like a powder, but it's a cream. So it says to apply with your finger just right under the eye before you go in with concealer, so we are just gonna do that. Okay, it's not as creamy as I anticipated, but maybe it just takes a minute to warm up. Definitely is brightening though, but it's a little bit drier than I thought. Definitely brightened up. I'm curious to see how it will sit under my concealer, so I'm just gonna take some. I mean, it's not like it's stiff, but it's not as creamy as I would have thought. But maybe that helps with creasing. This foundation shade is throwing me because it's so dark. Definitely gonna have to use concealer to lighten up. So this is what it looks like. I mean, I feel like it did the job. I don't know, again, if it will make a difference in terms of what my concealer looks like, but it definitely did brighten and kind of cancel out. I don't know, it says full coverage. I feel like I'm still seeing stuff, so I don't know if I would agree with that, but we'll see how this goes under concealer. So for concealer, I want to use the Iconic London Seamless Concealer. I've had this for a while now as well, and I really enjoy it, so I wanted to kind of demo it. I'm going to use the shade Light Cream. This is a very thin concealer, but it has a good medium buildable coverage. Actually, I do want to use this to brighten up. I feel like I just look a little bit too dark here. So I like this shade too because it's not too brightening. I've really been enjoying this. And also going to take it on the lid as a primer. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that corrector underneath isn't like gunking up or anything, but I don't know if I feel like it looks any brighter than usual. So next I want to go into this powder. I have not tried this yet. This is the Juno Blur Makeup and Setting Powder. I love the packaging. It's really, really pretty. It's like a square design. And then when you open it up, it has like a little mesh component, but a lot of powder comes out, which is something I like because I've had some in the past, like the Hourglass, that I literally can't get the powder out, and I just don't want to mess with it for, you know, 20 minutes trying to set my under eyes. So I'm gonna just blend out any creases, and I'm gonna dip right in. I haven't been baking as much, just kind of been stamping it in. Ooh, that has a nice blurring. So just kind of applying it and then pulling it down the sides of my nose. I also am noticing it doesn't have a smell, thank God. I have issues with a lot of powders kind of making me choke a little bit. So I appreciate that there's no smell in here. So I definitely agree that this is blurring. It's not brightening, so it's just kind of not going to change your foundation shade. It's just going to kind of set, mattify, and blur. So this is what my skin is looking like. The thing I noticed, it's very smooth. So far this is a good combination. Everything's working nicely together. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows, and then we are going to zoom in and start on the new Dominique palette. All right, so brows are on, and I'm so excited to go into this brand new palette from Dominique Cosmetics. This is the Celestial Storm. So these shades in here are absolutely gorgeous, and I'm just trying to figure out which way I wanna go. I'm gonna start out with the shade Lunar Eclipse. So I'm using the fluffy blender brush from Juno & Co. I haven't tried these brushes out, but I'm excited to. Wow, this looks pigmented. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use a sample. I like to do that to like give me kind of a sharp edge. This looks pigmented. There's a little kick up in the pan, but I'm okay with that. Wow, this is pigmented. So I'm just lightly bringing this in and then really making sure to blend. I feel like I just made a line on my eye, but I just want to make sure that I'm really deepening up this outer edge. I'm just trying to diffuse this a little bit, kind of up into the brow. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other eye. Oh my God, my stomach right now is making like the craziest noises, and I look like an actual psycho. If you're just tuning in, welcome to my channel. I should just put tape down, but I like to do my foundation first. I don't know, I just like to have everything set before I go in. Placing this, really making sure that I am blending that outer edge. I really want the depth. This is pigmented. I am impressed. So now that I've got that down, I'm going to very lightly just kind of blend everything. This brush is nice. Just try to blend this up very, very lightly. Like the pressure I'm using is barely there. Okay, so that's pigmented. Quite happy with that. Just trying to decide which way I want to go. I think I'm going to go in next to Lucid Dream right here, this pink. And I'm going in with the angled blending brush. These are so pigmented, it's like insane. So I'm going to place this back on there, and I really want to kind of deepen up the outer corner here. So just applying it and then kind of using that first brush to really buff it out. Really light pressure. Just gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. I swear to God, my stomach is like growling like I haven't eaten in years, and I literally just had breakfast. So apply it, and then again, really light pressure with that first brush. These are really pretty. I am impressed. So now I'm gonna take a little bit of Storm Dust. So I'm taking the tiniest bit, and I wanna kind of deepen this up right here. Right in here. And then I want to go into Astrid Lust. So I'm going to use this to really deepen out this outer edge. And then I'm going to take that brush and very lightly kind of pull it in. So for the lid, I just have to go into Eternal Light right here. I want to swatch this. Just looks really pretty. I almost feel like I want to mix in Electric Amethyst right here. I'm going to use my finger. These are supposed to be like transforming shades. They feel really hard pressed in the pan, but okay, let me go more in with the amethyst. kind of difficult with nails here, but so I'm going more in with that amethyst. I just like that better. So definitely recommend using your finger. I can tell that the way these are pressed, they're going to be difficult with a brush. Some of the prettiest shades though are that way. You're almost like forced to use your finger. I'm just taking a little bit of that Eternal Light right on the center just to really make things pop. So I want to do winged liner. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera because trying to do it on camera, I always mess it up, and then we will move on. And I want to try out this IT Cosmetics mascara. So I did my wings and that was a struggle. I feel like they're uneven, but it's as good as it's going to get. So I want to go in with this new IT Cosmetics Lash Blowout mascara. I feel like this is a collab with Dry Bar. So this is what the wand looks like. Oh, you can't set that down. Hold on. So this is the wand. It feels pretty lightweight. So I've already curled my lashes. I know it's going to be hard to see with this liner. I like the feel of it. It's not super wet. Feels like a thicker formula. I can definitely see my lashes even with this liner on. So I've been hearing pretty good things about this. It's not bad. I feel like it's lengthening more than volumizing. Like the Too Faced Damn Girl, I feel like does both, but it can get clumpy. This one is not clumpy at all, but I feel like it's giving me length. So I'm gonna go ahead off camera and apply my lashes. I wanna use these Saucy lashes in Dirty Talk. I absolutely love these. And then we're gonna move on to the face and finish off the eyes and all of that. Lashes are on, and I wanna go ahead and do a little bit of contouring with this Benefit Hoola, and then I wanna go into this Laura Mercier palette. But I wanna use this just to give me a little bit of structure. So I'm just gonna apply this kind of right in the hollow of my cheek. This is the angled powder and contour brush, by the way. I do like these brushes. They're performing nicely. I really like the eyeshadow brushes. So far, I'm impressed. So now I want to go into this Laura Mercier La Palette Naturelle. This one is all for charity, 100% of the proceeds, so I really wanted to feature this. So I'm going to try to go in with the shade right here. I'm hoping it'll be dark enough. So I'm going to use this to bronze up the skin. This palette is very soft. Almost reminds me of like a Hourglass Ambient palette. Everything's very soft, so I might have to use another bronzer just because, well, I feel like it's showing up. It does have a sheen to it, so just kind of beware of that. I'm going to take a little bit of my Jouer dark powder. I just feel like I need a little bit more. So for blush, I want to go into this Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur. I got the shade Pink Sky. Looks like it has an iridescence to it, and these are like a ColourPop kind of feel. So I'm going to use the Juno & Co. Detail Tapered. This would be nice for bronzer too. Just going to swirl into the product. I feel like a stippling motion might be better for these. There we go. Ooh, that's pretty. I feel like these just have to be built up. Definitely has a sheen, but it's very subtle. So for highlighter, I do want to try the one from the Laura Mercier palette. I'm going to go into this one up here. It's very subtle, but this is really pretty if you're kind of into the more natural. It can be built up though. Ooh, okay. Kind of like this, just like a nice light. You can kind of just go really on your chin. This is like the one that you could use kind of all over the face. Okay, this is really pretty. I actually really like that on the face, but I'm gonna take Benefit Cookie. This is the one that everybody's been raving about, and now it's in a single. And I'm just gonna use this down the center of my nose. So just kind of apply it and then blend it out. So for the lower lash line, I'm going to use the Juno Angled Liner and Brow Brush, and I believe I want to go into Storm Dust right here. These are so pigmented, you guys. I am really impressed. So I'm just kind of applying this like you would a liner. And I'm going to take this smudger brush with that same color to just blend it lower. These brushes are really nice, like detail brushes. Lots of like really small ones you can use for your liner or your eye makeup, which is something I feel like I'm kind of lacking. I feel like I have a million, you know, fluffy brushes, but little brushes like this you can use to pack on the eye, or like I'm using right now. Okay, I'm gonna go back into the Astrid Lust. I'm gonna use the angled blending brush for this. And I'm just gonna sweep this. I'm gonna go into that Eternal Light shade, which was that really light shade from the palette, and just hit my inner corner. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on to lips. I curled my hair off camera. I'm gonna use this KKW Lip Liner in 90s Icon. Because I have so much going on the eyes, I'm gonna do kind of a neutral lip. Shocker right now. Okay, I really like this shade. I feel like she changed the formula for the better. It's not as slippy, which I really like. I have more control that way, but it definitely feels different to me than her original, so maybe she changed it just a little bit to make it last longer. So for lipstick, I have two from her. I have this one. I feel like this one will look really good. This is 90s Runway, and then I also have Peach. I think I'm gonna go with the 90s Runway. Ooh, okay, this is more powdery. Is this like a matte? This doesn't feel like her. That's like early dry. I mean, 90s is matte, so I guess that makes sense, but I love the color, but dry lips beware. This is like putting translucent powder on your lips. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of push this powder into the skin. Alright guys, here's my finished makeup look, and I'm going to go over each product and tell you my thoughts. Starting off obviously with the Juno & Co product. Of course I love it, or I wouldn't have worked with the brand. I feel like if you're looking for something hydrating and smoothing all in one, I think you'll really like this, but it's not going to make you greasy. As you can tell, I look still matte because the foundation is matte and I set it, but I don't look dry or crusty, so I really recommend this, especially if you have redness like me and a lot of things are really highly fragranced and irritate you. This one doesn't do that at all, so really, really love that. Honestly, I heard some iffy things about the Flawless, what is it, Airbrush Flawless Charlotte Tilbury foundation. I actually like it. Now, do I think I would wear this every day? Probably not. It is heavy coverage, but I don't feel like it looks heavy on the skin. It looks nice and matte. I've heard that it wears like double wear. I've also heard that it breaks up really badly, so I will leave a pinned comment to let you know, but first impression is pretty good. It doesn't remind me of double wear. Definitely has more coverage, but I guess the dry down does. It looks nice and matte and smooth, so I like this so far. In terms of the kind of under eye corrector, I'm not sure. I don't know if I would use this every day to do an extra step. I don't think that my under eyes look any more concealed. Do I think that this could be kind of use if you're going to the gym and you just want to pat something on and go? Yeah, but it's also like $40, so I'll have to keep updating on that. Of course, I love the Iconic London Seamless Concealer. I really have been reaching for it over anything else since they sent it to me. So it reminds me of the Jeffree Star with a little more coverage. It's very smoothing and thin, and that's something I look for that I can really pull down if I want to. So I really like this. I like this Juno & Co. Makeup setting powder. I really think that this is true to claim, which is, it's called Juno Blur. It is blurring. It's not brightening, so if you need like really, you know, a brightening powder, this is not going to be it, but it really blurs. I noticed that it mattified, but gave me that really smooth look. So if you have texture, you might really enjoy this. Really surprised at how much I adore this Laura Mercier palette, and it goes to charity, which is like a double whammy. I love these highlighters in here. At first I thought, okay, they're gonna be really, really sheer. They're not gonna show up, but they do. They have that like candlelit glow. Almost, again, like the Hourglass, but I would say a little bit more bang. When you blend them out, they really kind of give you that shine. It's very natural. If you don't like the chunky metallic highlights that I feel like are all over the market, I think you'll love this. Get 2 blushes and the bronzer. The bronzer is very light, so you'd have to be, you know, fair or light to use it, but I really like this. This is like a very soft, natural palette. Absolutely floored by the Celestial Storm palette. Wow, I really am wowed. The mattes, I mean, they just blended effortlessly and they were intense. The toppers, I think you need to know that they are very sheer. You have to build them up. Finger works best, but wow, wow, wow. I want to get into these shades next, but I think this is absolutely beautifully executed. I think it is gorgeous. I love the colors. This is inspiring me. It's different. It's not the typical stuff. So highly, highly, highly recommend this upon my first impression. I've heard really great things about it. The Bare Minerals blush, I like it, but you have to build it up. I almost wonder if this would be better with a beauty blender or sponge to really kind of stamp it on, because with the brush, I felt like I was like adding and adding and adding. If you like a natural glow, I think you'd really like this. The KKW, I actually like this lip liner color a lot, but I also like the formula and that it is a little more stiff, kind of like the Charlotte Tilbury, whereas before they were like the ColourPop, very, very slippy. So I like this, and this is a really, really matte lipstick. I'm assuming because it was for the 90s collection. I mean, it's like powder on the lips, so it tugs, but I feel like it's gonna stay on all day, and I do like the color for both of these. This looks really, really peachy and warm, but when you blend it in with this lip liner, I feel like it's beautiful. In terms of the brushes, I really like them all, but I am really kind of in love with these tiny little brushes. I love how detailed these are. So you have the blending brush, which I used basically to do most of my eye look, and then my finger, of course, but these small brushes are perfect little detail brushes. I feel like I'll get a lot of use out of them because I can use them on the lower lash line to really do detail work and kind of build up color. So I really like these. And then the Lash Blowout Mascara, I like this. I don't know yet. I feel like it lengthened. It didn't give me as much volume as the Damn Girl from Too Faced, but I will continue to use this. I think this will be nice. Something about that Damn Girl from Too Faced just really like makes my lashes show. So I don't like it as much, but we'll have to keep trying it and I'll update you guys. So that is everything for today's trying new makeup. It felt good to get back into color and play around. Honestly, there's really not a dud. There's really not a dud today. Everything worked beautifully. Fingers crossed everything wears beautifully. I'll let you guys know down below about the Charlotte Tilbury. Make sure to check out Juno & Co. I really think you guys would love like these brushes right here. I love the powder is nice and blurring, and I really love that base. It's just the perfect base for any foundation. So love it. I will have it linked down below, as well as my discount code to save 10% site-wide. Thank you to Juno & Co. for working with me on a portion of this video. Thank you to you guys for watching. Let me know what you want to see next. Lots of palettes still releasing, so let me know your thoughts. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video.